was because of your creative. I think they're just stupid, bro.
Why are agencies losing clients they should be keeping?
Main reason to why agencies lose clients I should be keeping is the fact that they're not doing a good job. So imagine this, right? You're running ads for a client. You don't promise them, you don't give them a guarantee, but they are expecting you to go from like a 2x, 3x, 4x ROAS to push that further than they actually were before. And so they lose that client the moment that they don't scale as much and they still take that 10% ad rev or whatever it is that they take as a share and they don't grow their profits. The brand itself instantly realizes, why the hell am I paying this guy when I could be doing the same shit myself, right? If they hire somebody, they expect them to actually grow their revenue, and when they fail to do that, they end up losing the client.
What's actually happening inside an agency when a meta campaign stops scaling?
What happens within the actual agency itself is it causes a lot of panic. Think about it like this. Let's say, for example, you had a client and you were working with him directly, and let's say if their whole campaign just starts falling apart, right? Let's say you run it up for like a month straight, it's now reached fatigue, and now you don't know what else to add to the actual campaign, and it starts declining. Of course, you're gonna start panicking, you're gonna start thinking, what the hell do I do next? My creatives are now fatigued, I don't know what my next step is. So essentially, they start panicking, they don't know what to do, and they start losing their clients because of the fact that they don't know their next step and what they should be doing to actually keep that campaign running. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, a lot of agencies fall into that bracket. They get 2 to 3 winning creatives and then they just leave it like that, hope that literally saves them for like the next 6 months, which it definitely won't, because if you have an ad account that has high budget, instantly you're gonna realize that you're gonna lose so much money because you can't run the same creatives for 6 months straight. So you need to understand that it's all about testing new things and actually making sure that your campaign ends up scaling past what the deadline is, which is fatiguing in a month or two, depending on your budget.
So everyone talks about targeting and budget. Why is that the wrong conversation?
Targeting and the actual budget is important, but it doesn't end up telling you if your ad is actually going to perform and it hits that ROAS that you're trying to hit. You want to sort of understand that it's the creative aspects that does the targeting for you, works out if your budget does well or not, and it literally tells you by making sure that your frequency doesn't overlap or go above a 2.5, right? The budget and targeting falls within the creative.
How would an agency figure out that the creative is the problem?
Oh yeah, instantly, easy answer, bro. Look at your CTR. If your click-through rate is terrible, like let's say you're at 1.5 or 2%, that's when you instantly know that your creative is because essentially you want to be getting the most clicks out of your creative, and if you see that falling behind, you instantly realize, look, I've up because my CTR is low, how do I fix this? So you have to understand that as an agency, look at the CTR when it comes to understanding if the creative will perform or not. If it's something else like purchase, stuff like that, that's part of the funnel. But you have to understand the creative is sort of the front page of that ad, and that's what converts through the CTR itself.
What does it cost a brand
where
the agency doesn't know the answer to if the creative is the problem?
So let's say, for example, you are running ads and you want to be scaling up. The biggest problem is the moment you don't realize that your creatives are bad, you're not checking your CTR, you're not checking to see if it's a creative problem, you'll start panicking, thinking it's your funnel, checking the Shopify, trying to update certain things if it's e-com, or your lead generation, you try to make a better offer, try to discount it even more, and you lose even more money until you realize that the whole reason behind why these ads weren't working was because of your creative. So imagine this, let's say you decrease your prices, you give bigger discounts, you focus on things that don't actually work, you lose both time and money. We're talking like thousands and thousands of dollars, and you spending money to try discount the price or lower your margins just so that the product sells, you instantly up for something that could be fixed, which is actually adding good creatives to your ad account.
What does it cost a brand that doesn't know if the creative is the problem?
Let's say, for example, a brand is directly doing their in-house media buying. The difference between the agency and the brand running the creatives isn't as big of a difference, but essentially the brand has way more things to focus on than an agency would. An agency, when they work with a brand, their main focus is the media buying and the creative side. So it's easier for an agency to realize things, but a brand, they have to take care of shipping, they have to take care of all their products, they have to take care of next drops that they've got, they have to look at like margins, they've got so many other things that an agency doesn't. So it's way harder for a brand to notice if it's a creative problem or something else within the funnel because they overthink a lot more things than an agency would. An agency doesn't know the ins and outs of a brand as an actual brand owner. So for a brand owner to realize things takes even longer, which means they lose out even more money because they realize the creative problem is way later down the line, and then they spend more time on their other things, not realizing why the creatives are not actually performing in the ad account.
Why do agencies keep running the same creatives when they're clearly not working?
I think they're just stupid, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. If you realize a creative is ass, why the would you even bother running that? You instantly look at your performances. So if your AOV is like $90, you don't want to hit anything over about $180 on that ad as spend without getting a sale. Because if you do and you keep running that creative, you're just thinking like, oh, let's hope it works because it's getting so much budget. But you have to understand, Meta doesn't spend and hoard spend because the creative does well. It hoards spend because of the hook rate and the impressions. If an ad gets hella impressions, that means that Meta's going to promote that ad. But it doesn't mean that because Meta is thinking that ad is going to do well, it will actually do well. So you have to be in the ad account, checking if your creative is good or not. Because if you realize instantly that your CTR is and you've reached your kill rate and you're still keeping that ad on, you've pretty much screwed up the whole process.
What's the difference between an agency that holds accounts long term and one that loses them?
Ooh, oh, that's crazy to me. All right. So this is the biggest issue here. The biggest gap between a good agency and a bad agency is understanding the workflows behind creatives. Right? If your main offer is to be able to scale people and their brands itself, and you take that step to literally not put effort into your creatives and hope you're actually going to keep a client for like a year straight, it's never happening, bro. I'm not going to lie to you. If you use fucking Canva and AI and hope that you can keep a client for a year straight, with the creatives that you put out, it's pretty much impossible. Like maybe you'll get 1, 2, 3 winners, right? Good. But you have to understand that it's all about volume, bro. If that ad, for example, you keep them for a year, 6 months in, they will be spending, they'll be going for that $100 spend that you first started on day one with to like $500 daily spend and like $1,000 daily spend, right? They pretty much scale up with you. And if you suddenly try to keep the same workflow as you did day one, you instantly lose them 3 months, 2 months in because they want to scale. They're not just having you to keep their budget, keep in their safe spot just because you want to run your creatives in-house and do it yourself, which by the way takes you ages. Even if you use AI to find a winning ad takes ages. You can't just be releasing things without understanding formats and stuff like that. You need to know the back end before you even make the creatives. But that's the biggest problem with agencies not keeping clients. It's just a matter of fact that they don't understand the importance of creatives and how that actually keeps your client in check to actually keep working with you for a year straight while you scale the budget.
If a brand's ROAS drops, who's actually responsible, the media buyer or the creative team?
Oh, okay, that's a good question. Creative is exactly what's causing that ROAS to drop. If you have a media buyer and he does what he has to do and the ROAS still drops, essentially your creative is definitely what's causing that problem. You have to understand that it's more on the creative team. If your ROAS is dropping, it's your creative that's actually causing that. Your media buying could be decent, it could be good, it could be bad. That creative will never perform unless it's actually good.
Why can't most agencies answer that question?
Because they don't understand the importance of creatives. People leave out the importance behind creatives. Since 2025, when they hit that update, your creative is what is literally killing your spend. And they try to frame it as the media buying so that they get clients, right? They frame the media buying because they're like, oh, it's your media buying that's causing it, whatever the and they don't actually understand the importance of creatives.
So what does a media buyer do and what does a creative team do?
Okay, so agency actually does the analytics side of things. They read into understanding like what demographics they should be targeting, the ICP, the audience they're trying to track, right? Then the creative team takes that input out and understands the strategy side of things, which is like understanding how to actually target the ICP, how to actually hit the goals that the media buyers want to hit, and understanding the demographics behind what the media team has found out. The media buying team's job is to find out all the competitors, find out what's going on, find out all the back end things, and then creatives are what more front end sort of thing. So the creative team handles all the actual output of what's getting put into the account, and the media buyers are like telling them, look, we need to do that, right? So it's like a communication. They go hand in hand. Without one, you can't do the other.